All right. So it's your boy Marcus Holmes here, the Blended Family Guy. We're going to be talking about on today's broadcast. Oh, there's my lovely wife. So y'all, one thing that we always got to remember to let you know is that, oh, and here's my son. He wants to also be a part of this. So Major, there's Major right there, y'all. Okay. All right. Is that this is real, right? We're not giving you a fake, we're not giving you fake news. Like my wife right now, she's not going to be able to join us on the broadcast today because she's getting ready to take my son and one of his friends to Urban Air so they can hang out. She had to do some ministry work today over at Christ Temple. I heard they had a great time over there. And she wants to spend some time with the little guy. So again, there will be times when I'm not here. There'll be times when she's not here. This will be one of these times. But we're going to be touching on something I think that is very taboo. It's sometimes I like my kids. Sometimes I don't. I think I love them sometimes, but sometimes I wonder, do I? And I just want you to know that it's okay to feel that way sometimes. Okay, it's okay to feel that way. So we're going to be touching on a few of those things. We're gonna hit it hard, but I want you to know, if you're wondering, if this is your first time tuning in, I'm the Blended Family Guy. This is just a ministry that me and my wife have regarding blended families. We are a blended family. We absolutely enjoy helping families, taking them from just surviving to overwhelmingly thriving. We want you to learn from our mistakes. We are still not perfect and never will be. We're just going to continue to give it to you real, live, and uncut. The reason why is that's the way it was delivered to us. We had some really great mentors, that helped us along the way, and we're very appreciative of it. So, we're glad to be here. As my wife is getting ready to walk out the door, she's sending me little signals. I'm trying to keep my concentration, but
you can't multitask. He'll tell you that there's no such thing
as multitasking. Yes, there's no such thing. So I'm giving her as the old school people would say, I'm giving her some money. Mm. So that's the other thing. If I'm gonna, she's.
Nah.
Yeah, babe, hold on 1 second. Y'all, this is real, right? All right. So, and this is part of what it boils down to is that, I love the investment in our children, but that costs money. So, I think in the month of December, we're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be having some world-class financial planners on that are just going to be talking about life insurance and how to plan and getting down to the nitty gritty. One of those is, my wife is the Grinch, and, my husband just spends like there's no tomorrow. So that's that dichotomy that you have in marriage sometimes. And we're going to be talking on that and hashing that out. So really good stuff. I'll tell you, really excited to touch on this topic because we were there, right? We, during our daughter's adolescence, there was a time, and if Camille was here, she's at Howard right now. I think she's still in DC celebrating Howard's homecoming, which occurred this weekend or is going on this weekend. So she couldn't be on the show, but I wish she could be on the show because there were times when she was at that 16, 17, 18, 19 year age. 13. Did it start at 13? See, with the moms, it can start as early as 13.
Yeah.
Now she loved me but her and my wife, woo-wee. So
no, she loved me too, but we loved each other in a unique way.
Y'all loved each other, but Chris, there were times you did not like Camille, and you told her that. Now, so
she didn't like me.
Oh, I know, and that's what I was. That's what I want to make sure we we understand is that it's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes, right? So we're going to be touching on this broadcast. Hey, Chris, go ahead.
I'm going to take the boys, but I'll just say this. I do approve of anything that this man says. He witnessed a lot of just the challenges that can happen between a mother and a daughter. And I know one day I'll understand what can happen between a mother and a son. But for now, my testimony is that of a mother and a daughter, and how when, she's becoming a young woman, I know that there can be challenges, Mom. So please listen to him, because one thing I can say is I'm grateful that you were there, because I know there are a lot of women that, if you have do I want to say passive type husband who may avoid situations, like he doesn't like confrontation, then your relationship with your daughter during her adolescence was probably very, very rough. Because if you didn't have a man that could step up and say, wait a minute, this is my wife, and you're not going to talk to her like that, you had a rough time. And I'm so grateful that you were there, never respecting Camille, but just being willing to check her when she needed to be checked, to help her understand that no, there was a hierarchy to our home, and that you were not the boss of us. Just so she could understand that. Yeah. And I think that it has caused her to respect and honor us and honor our marriage, so that one day when she has children, she'll have something to look back on that she can say, "Oh, that's why they did that."
Oh yeah.
So
that's the beauty. That's the beauty of these Facebook Lives. She's going to be able to archive these, Chris, and we're going to be able to show them to her kids.
And I'll let her talk about me, because I didn't do it all right, but all right. So
I got you. All right. Thanks, man. Okay. Hey, Taria, what's going on? What's going on, Taria? All right. So we're getting down to it, right? I think I like my kids sometimes, or I don't like my kids a whole lot of the time. I do love them, but sometimes I don't. I want you to understand that on this broadcast, you can be liberated to know that that's okay. You know why? Because you are still wrapped in flesh. You have emotions, you have feelings, and sometimes it's hard raising these amazing children that we have while we're still learning as adults and parents how to live our life and how to navigate that the best possible way we can. So first off, let's talk about it, right? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with where it is. Okay, so you're looking forward to it. Okay, Teresa, so let's get down to it, okay? Let's get down to it. I'm trying to show some of these topic agendas on, let's do this again. Let's try this again. All right, show it. All right, let's get that agenda in there. Agenda, let's share it. All right, we're gonna do this, guys. I love technology. Let's do it this way. All right, we're gonna show it. There we go. What do I do when I really don't like my spouse's children? Ooh. So if you're in a blended family and you just don't like your spouse's children, I would say this: one, you need to pray. Okay, first off, you got to pray. And I don't say that sarcastically. There are times when two couples they get married. A couple gets married. They have, of course, the children from the previous marriage, and you have not formed that relationship. So, what do I do? What do I do? One, you're going to have to learn how to connect or reconnect with your children or your bonus children, right? I hate the word, and you'll hear me say this, I hate the word stepchildren. It either needs to be step up children or bonus children or whatever you call it. I just hate the word step. So what are those things you must do? Well, for one, you've got to pray about it. Okay. Why? You need to get yourself right. One, you need to look at, no matter what the age range is, whether those children are 2 years old or 20 years old or 40 years old, if you were coming into their life a part of their father or mother, that can be hard. That transition is hard. And a lot of people don't understand. If you were with me on one of my broadcasts, I think it was from last week or the week before, we were talking about the stress of a blended family. The average marriage, to deal with the stress involved of collaborating, and this is with no children involved. It's not a blended family, just a normal marriage. You know, two people get married in a year or two or 3 or 4 years later, they have children. It takes about 7 years to blend, right? And really start clicking and finding that rhythm. But it can be a little bit of a stress, right? Because you're learning each other. You're in a house now and the mask is coming off and you're really learning how to deal with each other. With the real you. I hope you are. But a blended family has to go through that within the first 2 to 3 years. So within the first 2 to 3 years, you're experiencing tremendous stress. So you've got to pray. And I really say this: if you are about to get married, entering a blended family, and you have not had the opportunity to have some good blended family coaching, some good marital counseling, my suggestion is you do it, and you do it quickly. And my suggestion is you do not get married until you do. Why? Because those are some of the things that need to be considered. You need to see if you work well, not only with that husband that you're about to marry, that wife you're about to marry, but that those children and those children's parents on the other side and their grandparents. All that, you are marrying into that family, and you need to make sure that that is what you really want, right? So one, you got to pray about it. Two, have the conversation in the spirit of love and not frustration. Well, what do you mean by that, Marcus? What I mean is, after you've prayed about it and said, Lord, I need to make sure my heart is right. I need to make sure that I'm looking at this in the right frame of mind. I might be a little frustrated by, the baby mama drama, the baby daddy drama. I just want to love my husband. So we're speaking in the context of a blended family, right? You have to have the conversation with your spouse about your feelings, right? Now, this is after you've prayed about it and made sure that you've asked for forgiveness of any feelings that you have that are wrong. All right. So you got to, one, pray about it. Two, have the conversation in the spirit of love and not frustration. And then what's number three? It's it's recognizing, right, that you want to love these kids. Now, let's bring this back into the context of just children, whether they're blended or they're your children by blood. The ultimate goal of you being a parent is the fact that you don't want to win or try to win every battle. You want to win the war. So I'm going to bring up a story of me and my daughter. So again, background, if some of you, this is your first time listening to our broadcast, when I married my wife, my daughter had turned 7. And when we first met, she was 5. Now you fast forward to her adolescent, her teen years, 14, 15, 16, 17. We raised her, and I love my daughter. Never, ever once in her entire life ever called her my stepdaughter. She's mine. She's my daughter. I love her. Would do anything for her. Okay. So, but there was a time that I had to show Camille better than I could tell her that I love my wife, and my wife would never take a backseat to her. So during her adolescent years, she really, really had a mouth on her. And that's why I had told her, we would ask her, hey, Camille, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, Dad, I don't know. I said, well, because you're so mouthy and you're so confrontational, and you're going to be a lawyer. So we told her, hey, you're going to be a lawyer. We told her. And that's what you have to do with your kids sometimes. When they don't know what they want to be in life, you let them know what they want to be. You let them know what they're going to be until they figure it out based on their personality, right? So we told her she was going to be a lawyer. She was very mouthy. And I had to constantly tell her when she was about 16 or 17, Camille, we do not mind you providing your opinion. We are raising you to be an independent thinker. We want to let you know we respect your opinion, but it's how you say it, your tone. Well, Camille had a problem, right, with her mouth. So I had told her, I said, now, Camille, if you can't learn to respect your mom, regardless of what she's saying, it's not if you agree, but it's how your tone in responding. So I had to put my daughter out. So yes, y'all, at about the age of, I think it was 17, I think it was her junior or senior year. I believe it was her junior year. I had to kick Camille out of the house. And she and my wife, although she knew it needed to be done, she actually, I had to pray for my wife, right? Now, that was one of those battlefronts that I was not willing to acquiesce on. Because the point is, guys, that, and let me go back to this point number 3, recognize that it's important to win the war for your children. You're not trying to win every battle. Pastor Brett Jones of Grace Church said something that was so key on one of our interviews with him, is that the goal is to win the war, the heart of your children, not to win every battle. It wasn't about us trying to figure out or trying to let her know we were right. But in that instance, I had to draw the line. And so, again, we hated her personality. It wasn't her personality. It was her this behavior. We hated it, right? Loved our daughter, but hated her behavior. And we did not like her at that time. We didn't like being in her presence. We would go out to eat. We wouldn't invite her. We would go out and just say, you know what, you stay home. We would try to sneak out sometimes and just say, hey, you know what? We did not like Camille at that time. And she knows that now, right? I mean, she knew it back then because we were very real and upfront with her. It was a very difficult time. We didn't like her, didn't like her behavior, loved our daughter, would have done anything. She knows that. But there were some battle lines that were being drawn. So I want you to understand this. 1, pray about it. When you don't like your children and you're trying to confront behavior, pray about it. Pray over yourself that past hurts, past challenges, past transgressions against you as a child, that you're not carrying out into, you're not placing it on them. 2, have the conversation in the spirit of love and not frustration. Don't ever have a conversation with your children when you're frustrated. All right, go play some golf, go to the sauna, go work out, go to a movie, and then have the conversation. 3, recognize that we are in a war for winning our children's heart. All right, stop trying to win every battle. Stop trying to win every battle. So, if you're trying to win their heart, I mean, look at it from two different places, right? 1, you've got to recognize, are you in it to win their heart? Or are you trying to be right? And so that's one thing you got to worry about. All right. Now here's the top 5 reasons. And this goes into the psychology of why some parents, and I know some of us see it. I think sometimes, I don't know if you've questioned it. 1, thank God, I've never had to question the love for my children. All right. Now, I've had to always ask God, check me to make sure I'm loving them properly according to the word of God and not based on how I was raised, because sometimes, again, how we're raised might not have been the best way. Now, I had amazing parents. I had the best parents in the universe. I thank God I have no regrets on how they raised me. Okay. But what I am saying is we still want to go according to the word of God in how we raise our children. Okay. So, here's the top 5 reasons people don't love their kids. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. And if you fall into any of these categories, One, I ask that you're open and honest with yourself. Two, you try to get some help. You get some help. Don't try, get some help. Right now, these 5 reasons come from a psychologist out of, I think it's Psychology Today, and I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but before we end this broadcast, I'll make sure to give him the credit that he so deserves. So here are the top 5 reasons, and I want to expound on them. Number 1, parents have negative self-image and extend it to their kids. You can't love a child if you don't even love yourself. And I think that's what's going on in the world today. You have a lot of our younger people, a lot of our millennials and younger, had kids when they were very young, but it was at a point when they were still trying to find their identity. And statistics say that most children that have children when they're young, before they're married, and you couple that, before they're married, they're young and they have children, most of the time they have difficulties in raising those children. Why? Most of the time is because they never had a chance to really find their identity. A lot of them were dealing with lack of confidence themselves, right? And so they extend that to their children. So top 5 reasons people don't love their kids. Number 1, like I said, parents have a negative self-image and extend it to their children. Number 2, which I think is huge as well, parents who are immature view their kids as a burden. Wow. I have seen that. And again, I am not perfect. There have been times when we were in our blended family dynamic and it was tumultuous at sea. We were on the blended family ship. Things were tumultuous, right? And I viewed my daughter as a burden. I viewed her, never said it to her, never said it to Crystal, but it was never the case. She's never been a burden. But sometimes when you're having that, you're out of sync and out of rhythm with your wife, you can start thinking along those lines that my children, she's a burden to me. And there's several factors that can play into that. One, how you were brought up, right? If you're immature and you weren't really cultivated and you weren't in a very nurturing environment when you were a child, you can view having children as a burden. That's number 2, right? Parents who are immature view their kids as a burden. And if any of these fall on you, just, again, you got to deal with it straight up, try to figure out the why, the root cause of why you're feeling that way and take it from there. And then here's the other one. Many parents can't accept loving expressions from children or of children. Here's why. And the psychologist, this doctor made a very good point. Have you ever seen somebody who can be very grouchy? They're on a plane and you have the child that, again, they're on the plane, it's a baby or it's a toddler and they're crying or, they're making loud noise. But you see some people who just scowl right at it. They just scowl. I sometimes wonder, do those people just not like children? Do they not remember that they were a child at one time? That, and I'll realize, many parents can't accept loving expressions of children because no love was expressed towards them as a child. And so I bring this into a really valid point, right? Some people don't need to ever have children. Uh-oh. And again, this is straight up being real. I know that there's some people that have children who wished they never had them. I hate that they feel that way. But after they felt, that honesty, and they had that real, they either had some counseling and they really asked themselves, they realized that if they had it to do over again, they wouldn't have had children. That's huge. I don't know what I would do if I ever felt myself in that position. So what do you do when you feel that way? One, you got to get some help, right? Because one, these are your children. You did have them, and they're your responsibility, and they need to get everything in their life that you didn't, so they don't carry on that tradition of possibly having children, but really not knowing how to express affection and those things that children need to have, or anybody for that matter. All right. Now, here's number 4. Parents have unresolved trauma in their own life, and that is the reason why they don't love their own kids. How many of us are going through that, right? Good friend, Pastor Eric Anderson, we were talking today about bitterness and unforgiveness. How many parents can't connect with their children? They can't even love their children because of unresolved trauma from their past or former life. That's huge. So here's what I want you to understand. All right. If you are a step up parent with bonus children, I want you to make sure that you reconcile in your heart any past trauma that is preventing you from loving those children as much as you can. Secondly, it's okay if you don't like your children's behavior, right? You have to remember, guys, there were times in our life, and Camille didn't like us either. And guess what? We did not care. There were some things we just absolutely did not care about. She was ours, right? We loved her to pieces, but she, the family line had been drawn. And if she crossed it, we were going to speak up. We weren't going to allow it. But I will tell you this, that we have a great relationship today because we did establish boundaries. But we did not like her sometimes. Ooh, Camille, when you look at this broadcast, we didn't like you sometimes. We loved you, but we did not like your behavior. And so it's okay, parents, if you don't like your children. It's okay. Now, were there times when we were like, do we love this girl? I mean, now there were, I'm just kidding. We always knew we loved our daughter. But parents, I just want to say this, and I'm praying for any parent that is going through this seriously. If you are having trouble connecting with your children, I ask that you get help. I ask that you speak to somebody that can help you. There are resources out there. Don't check out on your children. Because why? Remember, they're going to learn from you and how they treat their children. And so to you step up parents, have the conversation with yourself first, pray about it. And remember this, that they're children. They've been given unto you as a gift. Make sure that you take care of them and take responsibility for that. I leave you with this, that, you know what? As a parent, one of my greatest jobs, first, of course, is to be the best husband I can be. Second, to be the best father. My goal is to not pass on any bad habits to my son or my daughter, right? I don't want that seed of a bad habit to flourish in their life and how they treat their children. So I'm constantly checking myself. You as a parent, constantly check yourself. Whatever it is, God will let you know what you need to change. And even outside of that or within that, God has given us some great common sense. If there's things you need to stop doing in front of your children, stop doing it, right? We're all adults. Stop doing it. So I say this, and it's 6:29. All right, my wife tells me, babe, it's okay if you go over a few minutes. It's 6:29, but I said, you know what? We got to give them 30 minutes, babe. Well, she says, well, babe, does it have to be 30? Can it be an hour? I don't know what that looks like yet. But I will tell you this, I'm timely, and I like making sure that I honor your time. If you're taking the time out to listen to this, I just want you to understand that I love you. I believe in families. They're the core, the nucleus of how this country, this world, this universe was designed to be built. Jesus was all about families. So let's make sure that we do everything in terms of the investment in making sure our families are the best. All right. Now, if you're wondering how to get in contact with me, or how do you, what do you need to do to stay up to date? One, you go to marcus.holmes.com. All right. You can go there. And if you're wondering about that, here's what else you can do. You can go to, I believe, on Facebook, and you can run a search, but it's under Marcus A. Holmes. Boom. That's the Blended Family Guy. And you can also join our Facebook group where all these videos would be posted. If you want to run a search, we're also on YouTube. So if you're a YouTube person, you can find me. All right. Just go into YouTube and type the Blended Family Guy. I'm going to be there. You'll see me. All right. You'll see the guy, the Blended Family Guy on YouTube. And I'm trying to remember. Oh, the Blended Family Playbook is the Facebook closed group. All right. If you want to find that, you just go to Strong Blend on Facebook. All right. I'm getting that out. You'll see it here in just a second. Strong Blend on Facebook. Strong Blend, # Strong Blend, # Strong Blend on Facebook. That's how you'll find us. I can't wait because I believe we have one more on children. Yes, we do. The 29th. One more on children for the month of October. Next month, the first Sunday in November, is going to be an amazing event. We're going to be talking on something very serious. We're going to be talking on fibroids. We're going to be touching on how that whole episode almost caused a divorce because of my selfishness. So this one is going to be on the fibroids, the divorce, and my selfishness. And all three, this is going to be an hour broadcast. We're going to go deep, guys, because a lot of my friends, a lot of our friends, me and my wife, our friends are suffering from fibroids. And a lot of them are scared like my wife was. And a lot of men don't know how to deal with that. A lot of husbands don't know how to deal with that. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to be touching on it. We're going to uncover, and I'm going to put myself out there because I was selfish. All right. But those fibroids were doing a job on my wife mentally and physically. Right. So I want you to know this, that I'm excited. We got some really great topics coming up, some really great guests that'll be on the broadcast here soon. All right. I want you to know this. I love you guys. I believe in family. Let's go make it happen. Have an amazing week. Kiss your children. But before that, if you got a spouse, if you got a significant other, make sure you kiss them. Remember, family hierarchy, God, Jesus Christ, your spouse, your children, all right, your family, then your career, then service to your ministry, and all that other stuff. So remember, when those things are in order and in place, things in life are going along much better. All right. Love you guys. I'm out. I'll talk to you later. My wife sends her love. I believe she's at Urban Air right now with the kids. I'll talk to you soon.